Yo, what is going on everyone? It is your favorite trader, the Master of Coin, and guys, today we are back with a very powerful video, like every other video. But today, specifically guys, we're going to be speaking about a huge topic. And by that, we're talking about the Russia invasion of Ukraine. Specifically, exactly how you can trade this, how you could have been trading this, and how you can continue to trade moving forward. Because there's a lot of misunderstanding about trading fundamentals, high impact news, and really how these markets operate on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. So with no further ado, let's roll the intro and let's get right into it. Sheesh. Unless you've been living under the face of a rock, you've been hearing everywhere, right? Russia has invaded Ukraine. Now, of course, right, it's very sad what's going on, but I'm not here to put an emotional opinion on this. I'm here to talk about the logic and exactly how we can continue to trade these markets without any sort of fear, any sort of uncertainty, and how we can really profit from it. So let's just get right into the source of this. You see, what I want you guys to understand is any sort of news, any sort of fundamental stuff that comes out, right? Whether you're looking at the economic calendar, or whether you're looking at COVID, or whether you're looking at war, all this sort of stuff, the first thing you got to realize is there's an agenda behind this, right? These financial markets, when you look at it, it's not random. Every single pip that these markets move, and specifically today, we're going to be talking about the US dollar, the Russian ruble, and the Great British pound. But specifically, you got to understand all this fundamental stuff, all this news is an excuse for liquidity. Any news release, I don't care what it is, it's an excuse for liquidity. You see, these financial markets move from an algorithm. There's a very specific way they move on a day-to-day, week-to-week, year-by-year basis. And all news does, again, I don't care what news it is, COVID, I don't care if it's a national disaster, I don't care if it's war, I don't care if it's NFP comes out on the first of every month. Any sort of news, guys, any sort of fundamental is simply an excuse for liquidity. Now, what does that actually mean? Now, before I do get into this, guys, I want you to understand that if you guys are looking to take your trading to the next level, you can contact me because I do have my own personal mentorship program where I'm personally mentoring students all across the world. You know, we're having students go from never being able to win a supply and demand trade, blowing constant accounts, to growing their accounts over 15% in their first month. Now, again, that's not an income claim. That is simply just a fact of what some of my students have been able to achieve under my mentorship. So if you want to work directly with myself, I'll drop my Instagram link in my description below. Simply click on it, send me a message, we'll hop on a call, we'll have a chat. So all news is an excuse for liquidity. And I want you to understand that everything is simply a rich man's trick. I mean, we have to really take this thing back to basics, and then we're going to go in a full circle loop by the end of this video so it all makes sense. So sit back, enjoy your tea. We're about to go on a long detour. So let's actually understand the financial system we live in. You see, these financial markets, right, we're talking about almost every single penny in the world is being traded amongst all of these financial markets, specifically Forex, right? We're talking about the US economy, the Russian economy, the Great British economy. And we now have a system, right? Think about this. We have a tool, aka the financial markets, that allows you from anywhere in the world, right, to go on your phone and trade these markets to make a profit. So what does that mean? That means because you have access to essentially all of the finances in the world that you can trade leverage, you can come into these markets and essentially make unlimited money, right? That's the theory of it. I'm not trying to sell this, it's just the theory of it. But is it really that easy for everyone to come in and do that? I mean, hey, look, let's look at the statistics. We can see that 70, 80, even more than 90% of traders are losing money in this game. And it's simply because of this. Most traders have to fail, right? You can't come into this and expect to be a millionaire, profitable trader instantly. It doesn't work like that. Because if you could, then everyone else could as well. And if everyone else can do that, think about it, who would work at the gas stations? Who would work at the grocery stores? Yo, you're watching a YouTube video right now. Who would be operating the YouTube servers and maintaining YouTube, right? Why would anyone go to a 9-to-5 job, trade their time for a paycheck if they could sit at home or on a beach, go on their phone, press buttons and make money? I mean, again, you can do that, but the reason it's so difficult is because there's a lot of misinformation out there. The reason these news releases come out is to keep you in a perpetual state of fear. Like every year, every day, every minute, there's always some sort of news release. And what they're trying to do is distract you from what's actually going on. Now look, I'm not trying to go down a conspiracy theory type thing. Ultimately, at the end of the day, no one actually knows what is truly going on, right? All we can do is look at the facts and formulate opinions. So what I'm getting at though are the facts. And what we can see is every day, every week, every year, there's a new news story, right? It's called tell lie vision for a reason. You see, these people are telling your vision a lie. They're trying to give you all these different things. So what I'm getting at is this. The reason they do that is to distract you from what's going on. As a trader, it's distracting you from what's actually going on the charts. You see, all of these news releases, the chart gives you the footprints of what is going to happen before it happens. If you don't believe me, go on Forex Factory. Go and look at every high impact news. Go on the lower time frames and view exactly what it does. All the news does is take the market to levels it needs to go. Specifically, the most recent price action, 21st of February. Let's look on the 21st of February and see what's been happening, right? Last few days, last few weeks, right, the US dollar and Russian ruble have been going absolutely crazy. The Russian ruble has been devaluating. This chart specifically, USD RUB, shows you the strength of the US dollar, and when this chart goes higher, that means the US dollar is increasing and the Russian ruble has been decreasing. If we actually take a look at this chart and look at the footprints, you're not actually going to be surprised what's going on in the chart. Now, I'm not going to say I'm sitting there and knew there was going to be an invasion of Ukraine. No, I didn't know that. But I knew big moves were coming. I didn't know the specific story of what was going to cause that, but I knew that all the news was going to be is an excuse to achieve certain price points. And we can see this across all financial markets, whether it's the crypto space or the Forex space. But let's take a specific look. We can see clearly, right, we go on our higher time frames. We go on the weekly time frame. What do we have down here? We had a large multi-year accumulation, right? Multi-year accumulation. The market expanded. We had a small retracement and we spent a multi-year reaccumulation. COVID 2020 happened, right? March 2020, what did that do? Just catalyze the growth. Now, specifically, the last few days, we can see that higher time frames in the uptrend, and all the market has been doing is just been reacting off demand zones. So, look on the lower time frame. What have we been doing? We've been seeing a very clear uptrend, right? The market has been breaking bearish structure, right? We look at our supply zones sitting at these highs. Market has been breaking structure, uptrending, and trading back into where? Levels of demand. This is not random. The market is coming into these demand zones. Now let's go on the lower time frame and see exactly what's been going on. Remember, Russia invaded Ukraine 21st of February. Check this out. 21st of February, here. 21st of February was here. So we can go back to the 21st of February when they invaded Ukraine, and we can see this thing has just been lining up. All the market did was create a new higher high, pull back into a demand zone, give a lower time frame breaker structure, which we can see, accumulate, and then go higher. That's all it did. Is it a coincidence that the market comes into these zones when the war, and this is before the war, look, we're talking these accumulations are occurring on the 10th of February, 16th of February. And then finally on the 21st of February, after the market has already been going, the Russian ruble has already been falling off the face of the earth. This invasion is just an excuse for liquidity in the market. And the reason why is because war is very, very profitable. They've been printing so much money recently. How are they going to launder that money back into the economy? Think about it. Create a war. Create a war. Now, what does war require? Money, troops. It requires big tanks, big expensive tanks, big machines. Where's that money coming from? It's what the Federal Reserve have been doing. Printing. The central banks of all these currencies are printing money. Inflation. That's why inflation's been going so high. So now when we come onto the charts, what I'm getting at is this, right? You're going to see the signs. This is like, before we even go to the 21st, this is a bullish market, right? What has the market done? It's been in an uptrend. It's traded into a level of demand. If you don't know what a level of demand is, go and see my video on it. The 3 secret candlestick formations banks use. What does it do then? Comes in, bearish structure, right? Lower time frame intraday structure. We'll go into it. Look. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Oh, break structure, accumulate. Okay, pull back into the demand zone, continue higher. And we can see this thing has been continuing to rally. It's not a coincidence that these markets have been moving like this. So what does this mean for you? Right? What does this mean for you? And since then, look at that, huge movements. Let's take a look on something like GBP USD. Right? On GBP USD, I've been selling the heck out of this thing recently. Why? Because it's been setting up. Is it a coincidence? But before GBP USD dropped 300 pips in a day, was distributing for the last 20 days. Guys, I'm telling you, these markets are not random. They're very specific. And once you can train your eye and understand the algorithms which move these markets in a very distinct way, you can position yourself on the right side of the trades so that you can make a profit. I want you to understand that everything is lining up. Right? When did this sell happen? On the 23rd of February, just after the invasion. Like, these markets are not random. Let's look at the US dollar for a second before we break this down. Right? DXY. All the dollar index has been doing is reaccumulating. Right? All it's been doing is reaccumulating, constantly accumulating. And then look what happens. 23rd of February. When Russia invade. US dollar spikes. Why is that? Guys, I'm telling you, there's an agenda behind it. Like, look. I'm not sitting there saying I look at fundamentals and try and figure out and predict, what's going to happen next. No, I don't care about that. All we're doing is have our trading system, our trading plan, right? Now, everyone's going to have different trading styles. For me, I trade smart money and whack off. And the way I view the markets, I can't predict the future. No one can predict the future. Let's be honest. All we're doing is managing risk. But I know I have an edge in the market. And once my edge plays out in the market, all news and fundamentals are going to do is project the market to go where it's going to go. All it's going to do is just mitigate certain levels. All it's going to do is rebalance price and take liquidity. That's all it's going to do. Right? This market is a game of chess, not checkers. It can only do a certain amount of moves. So what I'm getting at is this, family. When you're trading during these time periods, don't worry about this news sort of stuff. Am I saying don't be aware? No, that's wrong. Be aware, be connected, understand when the liquidity is coming in. For example, right, today is Tuesday the 1st of March, 3 p.m, right, US dollar high impact news was coming out. Did I have to worry about when this was going to come out? No. I was aware that it was coming out, and I was aware that US dollar pairs were going to have liquidity. Oh, GBP USD, what's been happening today? Since the news come out, 3 p.m. Oh, it's been dropping. Following the initial narrative, what it's already been doing and what it's already designed to do. Do you get it? Like, is it really random? Is it really, really random? Of course not. If it was random, no one could make money. So what I'm getting at is this. During this whole time, and during any sort of economic crisis or any of that sort of stuff, don't worry. Their goal is to put you in a state of fear. Because when you're in a state of fear and your emotions are high, your logic runs low. You see, your emotions cloud your judgment. And when you're allowing all this media to put you in a state of fear, you're worrying about nuclear wars, you're worrying about all this sort of stuff. If it happens, it happens. I know something. If that sort of stuff happens, I'm going to know about it. Like, you're going to hear about it. Like, someone's going to tell you. You know what I mean? But do you, like, to be trading on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis, you haven't got to worry about all this fundamental stuff and let it scare you. All you need to understand is all fundamentals provide liquidity in these markets. It is simply the larger players, larger institutions using that as an excuse to move the market to pre-designed and designated levels. All the market is going to do is two things: seek and destroy and rebalance itself. It's going to come back and mitigate certain orders and take other traders out. That's all it can do. And it does that for a few specific moves. If you want to learn this stuff, it's out there, right? I mean, it's very hard to learn online for free, I'll be honest with you, but it can be done, right? The easiest thing to do is get a mentor, someone's already done it, but that's irrelevant. What I'm saying is don't worry about this sort of news stuff. What I'm trying to show you guys is all news releases print first on the chart. It's all baked in, it's all predetermined. Everything's a cycle, it's all predetermined. Does that mean you can catch every news release? No. Not every news release will meet my rules and meet my criteria for me to enter a trade. How you got to view the markets is you've got to have a very, very clear, distinct entry criteria. When are you going to enter a trade? Why are you going to enter that trade? What conditions, what do you need to see before you enter that trade? And once you have these things aligned, how are you now going to manage that trade? Of course, during wild news events, if you're on the wrong side of the trade, of course things like slippage can occur and the trade can gap above or below your stop loss. I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen. That's broker issues, that's liquidity issues. But you need to make sure that when your edge presents itself, you're executing that edge without fearing about a certain news release. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Right? You shouldn't be trading or investing with capital you can't afford to lose. That's why you got prop funds out there. Look, I'm not trying to promote any, but be smart, use someone else's capital. But the main thing I want you guys to understand from today's video, this stuff happens on the chart first. 21st of February was the invasion, right? GU, when was the 21st? Back here, right? What was we doing? We was breaking, we was invalidating, we was distributing. We had our break of structure, which confirmed our distribution on the 15th of February. 6 days before the war started, right? And all the market did was look, all it did was provide liquidity. So once we can enter the trade during New York session for a continuation move, the market can just continue its direction. Oh, now that's a coincidence. Okay, let's look at some more examples. I showed you guys the Russian ruble. I showed you guys pound USD. Let's look at metals. Remember the date, 21st. This trade was executed on the 21st. And look what happened. Metals just propelled in the direction, producing a 1 to 78 risk reward. Of course, yeah, we've had retracement still, but that's besides the point. What I'm letting you guys understand is that everything can be read on the chart leading up to it. Well, look, we was accumulating back here in the start of February. Metals were rising, metals were rising, metals were rising. Like, I want you guys to understand that all this stuff, look, it all begins on the lower time frames. Look, let's go back to the 1 minute time frame. Let's look at this stuff. Let's really look at this stuff. Look what happens. We trade into a demand zone. We have a lower time frame accumulation. We have a lower time frame breaker structure, trades into demand, stop loss at the invalidation of demand, and the market goes. Again, today's not a teaching point on the strategy. If you guys want to know more about it, I've got tons of videos on it. But what I want you guys to understand is that news is an excuse for liquidity. Let's look at more examples, right? Let's look at Bitcoin, right? No, I want to show you guys a completely different news article. COVID, right? March 2020. Do you remember when Bitcoin started crashing in March and everyone was fearful because it was a black swan event? No, it wasn't. All it was doing was taking all the liquidity, all the early buyers here, because again, most people have to lose. Trading is a zero-sum game. For you to make money in the market, someone else has to lose. For you to lose, someone else has to win. It's how it works. So all the market does is look, come down into monthly demand. And again, we have so many screenshots of us buying this. If you've seen my other videos, you'll see it. But guys, look at that. Is it coincidence that March 2020, when the COVID stuff happens, it comes straight into a demand zone and then rockets to all-time highs? Hey, once, okay, maybe one time is a coincidence. But 2, 3, 4 times every week, every single day, every single news release, this sort of stuff plays out. It's not random, guys. It's very intentional. Right? If you understand supply and demand, if you understand Wyckoff, you understand the algorithms of the market, how everything works. And it's the same cycle day in, day out, week in, week out. All you need to do is be able to regulate your emotions so that these news releases not keeping you scared, not giving you biases, so you can see the chart clearly, look at the levels of supply, look at the levels of demand, and make logical analysis based off that. And seeing where is the highest probability direction based on your trading plan, based on your rules. For example, during the pandemic, right? I'm not trying to have an opinion on that, but a lot of people were losing money. A lot of people were going broke. A lot of people had really hard times. Hey, markets traded better than they ever did. I made more money during the pandemic than I ever did in my life. And that's not an income claim we're trying to boast. I'm just giving you guys the facts. It's all about your beliefs. It's all about your emotional regulation. Whilst everyone was fearful during the pandemic, a lot of people made serious business moves. You see, you have a choice. When there's a stimulus on the outside world, you have a choice on how you choose to respond to that. You can either let your fight or flight, your amygdala, fire up, and your fight or flight response can kick in. Or you can be an evolved creature and control those emotions. Remember, we can't control the market. We can only control our mind, which we bring to the market. And that's why a lot of traders fail, because they're trying to control the market. They're focusing so much on their technicals, not even focusing on their psychology. But that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother convo. Look, let's look at some more news releases. Right, let's take a look at NFP at the start of February. Check this out. US dollar, 1:30 PM UK time, right? US dollar non-farm payroll. Let's look at the US dollar pairs. Let's look at the chart and let's see what happened. So look at this, right? This is when the NFP kicked in, 4th of February 2020. Let's look at it, right? USD 1:30 p.m. UK time, non-farm payroll. What happens? Market spikes up, liquidity comes in, it then provides more liquidity so it can break structure, invalidate supply, because if you've got a downtrend, you've got sellers in control, right? We invalidate our downtrend, confirm our uptrend, we've now got a level of demand, boom, look what happens next. NFP comes in back here, the market returns into the demand zone 6 days later to then give us the low, to then rally and rally and rally and rally. And what was this? Let's look on the 10th of February. Let's see what fundamental was coming out to give us that excuse. Oh, look at that. US dollar, CPI news, high impact. Oh my God, it's scary, right? Don't trade the high impact news. All it did was provide liquidity, come down into our demand zone to then continue rallying. I want you guys to go backtest this stuff. Go backtest every single news release. Everyone. You're going to be able to see how that news release provides liquidity so the market can complete agendas. And we go from a top-down analysis. We wasn't thrown out. We can see the market was in a huge reaccumulation, right? We have our creek. We jump across the creek. We come into our demand zone. We accumulate in our demand zone. Boom, we rally. Create new highs. Is it really random? Is it really random? It's the same thing. Guys, once you see this over and over and over again, like, trust me, your eye is gonna be trained, and that's all you need to do. You need to train your eye and develop your psychology. You've got two sides of it. So look, I know I've been rambling for a while, but I want you guys to understand this in conclusion. With this whole world, war going on, look, let's truth be told, we don't know what the hell is going on behind the scenes. Let's be real, right? I don't believe a word the media says. I'll tell you why. Because media corporations are funded by these governments and billionaires to feed you certain propaganda. It's called television for a reason. Tell lie vision. Tell your vision a lie. Don't get sucked into the media. Stay in your lane. If something really bad and serious happens, trust me, you're going to know about it. Trust me, someone's going to call you and tell you if you need to evacuate your country. You really think you're not going to find out about that stuff? But until that day happens, of course, prepare, be ready for things. But in terms of trading, be aware, be connected, but don't be attached, right? Don't worry about all these stuff that's coming out. Keep trading your plan. Keep doing what you need to do. And the markets will follow if you're on the right side of the trend. They're not random. They're systematically delivered on every time frame. As long as you've got your entry model, as long as you've backtested your entry model, you've proven to yourself, you've collected data that in normal conditions, you can trade your system. All you got to do is trade your system without letting your emotions control you. That's why so many traders fail, because they can't control their emotions. Look, truth be told, the system itself doesn't actually matter. There's a million ways to trade. Is one system better than the other? No. It's all about what makes sense to you and what suits your personality. For me, my understanding of the market, institutional-based trading makes sense. It's logical. Factual-based trading. Rather than, fabricated trend lines. That's a whole nother combo for another day. The main thing is this. News is simply an excuse for liquidity. The market is going to go where it's going to go. Identify your levels, watch the mitigations, and watch how the market systematically delivers price throughout any sort of news release. Whether it's COVID, whether it's anything, right? All the market's going to do is do what it's going to do. Like again, look at the S&P. Look at the S&P. March 2020. All it does, what's it do? Come back to mitigate. Take liquidity, bounce back up. Right, I'm telling you, look, the financial crash 2008, what did it do? Mitigate, bounce back up. Guys, these things are not random. There's been so many wars, so many dips that's been happening. All the market is going to do, what? World War, 1940s. What did the market do? Dip, bounce back. Again, it's the stock market, slightly different. But what I want you to understand, guys, is the market is going to do what it's going to do. Identify your levels, find your plan, get clear on your plan, trade your plan. That's all you need to do. Don't worry about all this sort of stuff. Trust me, if it gets bad, you're going to know about it. Bad enough to the point where you need to take some sort of action. In terms of your trading, that's what we're speaking about specifically. Stick to your risk management, stick to your plan, keep your emotions on check, and keep trading as you would normally. With that being said, guys, Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are liking the face cam, yo, drop a comment, let me know, and I'll do more videos like this. If you guys got any video suggestions, anything specific you guys want to see, yo, let me know as well. I know we've got a lot of new faces coming in the channel as well recently, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. And if you guys are looking for more mentorship, more support, one-to-one guidance, yo, shoot me DM, we'll see what's possible. And with that being said, I'm going to see you guys all at the top, from the top, because the bottom is way too crowded, man. Sheesh.